invitation. So please don't get hung up on how it looks or keeping up or anything like that. Just my commitment is just that you feel better stepping off the mat than you did stepping on, and go at your own pace. Just do what your body's asking of you today when we do our energy scan. Just accommodate your class accordingly. So if you're feeling really high energy, then throw in some extra reps of things or increase the intensity. And if you're feeling really low energy, then maybe you just give yourself a break. You can still be in recovery in your body and in movement. So it's called active recovery. So you can still go through with class, but instead of giving 110% energy in, effort in, you can give 100% attention, but just like 40%. So just lower your knees in like the plank poses and things like that. I'll try to give you options and opportunities to adjust like that throughout class. So we'll start seated in a comfortable position. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yes. We'll start seated nice and tall. Hey, functional! How are you, Oscar? Good morning. Right. Are you on the boat this morning or are you home practicing with us? So coming to a comfortable seated position. Heart comes over hips, head comes over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give. Eyes can come to a close on a yoga mat for this. Great. Well, welcome in. I'm really glad to hear that. Eyes can come to a close if that's comfortable, and we'll take 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out through the mouth. Shoulders drop away, nice and heavy. Just allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, returning to a natural pace. And we'll take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And just become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Perhaps a sound of passing traffic or birds singing outside your window. Maybe the humming of a light or the ticking of a clock within your home. And allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. Begin to scan your body from head down towards toes, checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. We'll just take note to work into those spaces that call out for our attention throughout your movement practice today. And we'll shift that attention from the body, Annamaya Kosha, to our energy, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at in this moment energetically. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl back into bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And shifting that awareness up to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. And shifting the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely and observe them from a distance. No need to engage. Like a film being projected onto a screen. The story goes on without our direct participation. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts this morning? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhaling fills belly like a balloon expanding. It inflates. Ribs expand as well. And exhale zips the ribs in, pulls belly button in towards spine. Full belly breathing here. We'll layer on our pranayam, our breathing exercise for the month of March, Ujjayi Pranayam. victorious breath or ocean sounding breath. We're bringing a slight constriction to the throat, just enough so that you can hear the air passing in and out through your nose, creating that ocean sound. So there's a bit of force in the breath, enough so that you imagine it's like fogging up a glass mirror just in front of your face. Allow space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. Tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. The spine still tall, shoulders slightly pulled back to keep the chest open. And if the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Long, deep breaths, slowing the breath down. And the next time you exhale, no rush to get there, just release any holding or tension in the throat, any effort from the breath, returning to a natural pace. Perhaps affected by that pranayama, so ujjayi pranayama is used to help build heat in the body as well. We'll bring our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be something you've been working with all year, or something new may have brought you to the mat today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. Of course, you're invited to chant along with me. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. And left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently rock side to side. Morning, Greg. Welcome in. How are you today? next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral. Bye. We'll begin to roll the shoulders forward. Just opening up the space in the upper back, space between the shoulder blades. And we'll roll the shoulders back. And go. Opening up the space, the chest. Releasing the shoulders to stillness. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, bending over to the right, left arm reaches over. We'll take a nice big sweep in front of the body. Right arm follows. And continue these nice big sweeping motions. There's really no wrong way of doing this. Don't get too hung up on how it looks. Just waking the spine up, opening up these intercostal muscles, those muscles between the ribs. And we'll change directions. Morning, John Bailey. Facebook. So just nice big sweeping motions. So waking up the shoulders here. And the next time you come up through center, we'll hold it here. Hello, hello, how are you, my friend? Deep breath in. And exhale, we'll give it a twist. Left hand comes down to right knee, right hand comes down behind you, chest opens to the side wall. Inhale back up through center, calibrating breath and movement. Exhale to the left. Right hand lands on left knee, right shoulder pulls back behind you. Following the breath, allowing the speed of your body to be informed by the length of the breath. So we're not going for the deepest twists of our lives here. It's first twist of class, first twist possibly of the day. We're just waking our body up to this direction, to this movement. We've got one more to each side. Really the beginning of class, all these early like just stretches and dynamic movements are just us taking a diagnostic, seeing like, oh, is there any pinches or pulls or pins that clicks and cracks that we want to just be aware of before we go into any deep postures. Here we'll bend the elbows, hands come to ear height, and so that we can, and just start giving them a wave, so that we can more intentionally and mindfully move through the rest of practice. So here we're just warming up the wrists, the hands, all the ligaments, tendons, and muscles around them. Palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. So we're not moving the elbows, we're just focusing on the hands and wrists here. Then palms flip up towards the sky. Your fingers are really reaching back, like you're trying to get your fingertips to touch your forearm. Right? Fingers spread wide, and we rotate here. And we'll just gently shake off water. Three, two, one. Okay. Just got paint on me. Okay. So we'll work on some neck resiliency here. Bringing the fingers to the jawbone, right where it ends, underneath the ear. Seated up nice and tall. Just bring the fingers out about an inch or so. We'll just start giving the head a slide, side to side. Things to look out for. You want your shoulders to be just gentle and melted away. No lifting the shoulders to help this out. Fingers stay still. And the second thing to look out for is turning the head. So we're not shaking the head, no. We're sliding the head side to side. Still breathing fully here. If you're finding it really difficult or you can't reach, just bring your fingers in closer. And slowly you'll be able to open up more spaces in the neck to get that slide in. 3, 2, 1. Yeah? Alright, let's work on the next neck rolls. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can actually see what's going on, but you can stay facing forward so you can see the screen. So, seated up tall, shoulders stay melted away. Chin tucks down towards chest. Nose comes down, down, forward, up, and back. Then we tuck the chin back in. Coming in for our neck rolls. Creating a smooth circle. You can visualize every vertebra, every bone in your neck moving freely and independently. Even if you know that not to be the case. We're working to open up these spaces in the neck. Release that tension and undo some of that sitting and looking down that we do all day. And then we'll change directions. Head looks up, all the way forward, leading with the chin now, down, down, down. And then pull the chin up and back. Head reaches up, all the way forward. Chin tucks down. Pull it as we're smoothing that movement out. And last time. And back to center. Alright, so you can just give that a little shake out, allowing the head to drop side to side. And we'll bring the legs out in front. How are you doing, Greg? Great to have you, great to have you. So with the legs extended out in front, let's spread and scrunch the toes. Begin to point and flex the feet. Roll out the ankles, so just waking up the lower legs here. Change directions. Bend in the knees. Feet come nice and wide, like mats distance apart. And just drop the knees side to side. Feet are far enough away that the legs don't stack. So just nice and gentle, allowing the hips to get some movement in here for all that sitting. And the next time the knees fall over to the right, them drop down all the way there. The right hand walks in close to the body but still on the ground. And left arm sweeps up, hips and chest rise. It's a deep breath in. Exhaling, the hips touch down. Hand sweeps back behind you. Knees come over to the left. Right arm sweeps all the way forward and up, opening front side body. And exhale, hips touch down. So like I said, I'm not going for any like personal bests or beating any records here on back bends, but every time you move into it, you might find you have a little bit more space to press a little bit higher, to open up a little bit deeper. It doesn't even have to be a visually perceptible deepening. You can just feel it in your body. Alright, so we're calibrating breath and movement here. Inhales to open. And exhales to touch down and switch sides. This time when we come up on the right side, just hold it up here and the breathing continues. So we hold the pose but not the breath, and just 3 big back strokes with this arm, helping to open up the chest and shoulder. And on that third, we touch the hips down, bring the knees over to the left hand close to the left hip, right arm sweeps it open, chest and hips rise, and nice big back strokes with this right arm. Working at hips touch down, knees fall over to the right, and our hands will come to frame the right knee, coming into a tabletop pose. Okay, so hands come below shoulders, knees come below hips. Belly drops, hips and chest rise for a cow pose. And exhaling round in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest for cat. Inhaling through cow, belly drops, hands press down and back, knees press down and forward. So it's like I'm trying to scrunch my mat together, if I was on a mat. And exhaling through cat, hands press down and forward, knees press down and back, like I'm trying to spread the mat apart. Come into a deeper rounding in the spine. Inhaling through cow pose. Exhale through cat pose. And once again, connect the speed of your body to the length of your breath. So smooth it out, slow it down. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's available to you. The next time you exhale through cat pose, really exhale all the air from the lungs, opening that space between the shoulder blades. Press, press, press the ground away. And return to neutral tabletop pose. We'll send the right leg up and back behind you. Really press the heel away, keeping it hip height. So we're not going for height here, we're going for length, like the foot is going to reach the wall behind you. Mindful that your belly doesn't sag down like in the cow pose. We're keeping the spine nice and long. And then the left arm sweeps forward like you're going to shake someone's hand. Extended tabletop pose. I'm pressing the ground away through my right arm. Reaching for opposite sides of the room. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, rounding in the spine like cat pose. Lifting the belly out of the way, elbow comes towards knee, knee comes towards elbow, super slow motion. Let it take the entirety of that exhale. Inhaling, we extend, reaching for length, extended tabletop pose. Exhale to curl in, lifting the belly out of the way, rounding in the spine. Inhale for length. And once more, curling it in, lifting the belly out of the way. Strong press through that right arm.
to keep from sinking into the shoulder. Then bend in the right knee, foot comes in towards the glute, and a big backstroke reach with the left arm. Maybe grab onto this foot. Once you've got a grip, let the left shoulder open up, chest opens up to the long side of the mat, and the foot kicks into the hand, beginning to bring a stretch and a pull to this left pectoral muscle in your chest and shoulder. So the foot's kicking up and back. Still, there's full breathing even in the twist. We'll release like pressing rewind. Gently release the grip on the hand, no slingshotting back. Reach forward, extend the leg, hand comes down, knee comes down. Tabletop pose, just a breath here in neutral. Left leg reaches up and back behind you. It reaches long. Hips square to the ground, and right arm sweeps forward like you're going to shake somebody's hand. Mindful that the spine is long. We're pressing the ground away through this left arm. Don't let yourself sink into the shoulder. Extended tabletop pose. Deep breath in here. And exhale, curl in. Elbow towards knee, knee towards elbow. And really lift the belly out of the way, rounding the spine like through cat pose. Inhale for extended tabletop. Moving nice and slow, like moving through honey. Exhaling, rounded in. So we're not using momentum here at all. In fact, we're using the speed, the slow speed of the breath and the body to build stabilizing muscles. Once more, exhaling it in, rounding in the spine, lifting belly out of the way. Back to extended tabletop. Then bend in the left knee, heel comes in towards glute, and a big back stroke. Reach back with the right hand, grabbing, like literally getting a grip on that foot. And then as the foot kicks into the hand, allow the chest to open towards the opposite long side of the mat. Foot's kicking up and back to give the shoulder and the right pectoral muscle a stretch. Deep breath here. And we'll release like pressing rewind. Gently release the hand. Arm comes forward, leg comes back through extended tabletop. Right hand touches down, left knee touches down, and a breath here in neutral. Then we'll work on our wrist strengthening here. We'll start with our wrist peel ups, so it's almost like our wrist push-ups. So without moving the shoulders, we're going to lift the hands up off the ground. So just the palms come off. The knuckles are still pressed into the ground, and then it's a slow lower down. Lift without any momentum. So there's no rocking. So we're working up to 10 like this. If you're working on just getting 1, you can be working up to 5. And if you can easily do 10, you just want to shift your knees further back. And if that's easy, you can tuck your toes under and be in a full plank. But I'm not there yet. So we're still breathing fully here, being super mindful. To keep it slow and steady. We got 3 left. Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Weird? Or I don't think it's morning for you. I think it's like 6 p.m. your time. So, happy Tuesday. So we're working on wrist resiliency here. We've got one last wrist push-up. Tuck the toes under, sit back on the heels. You can interlace the fingers and just give a roll out of the wrists, like a figure 8. Yeah, it's 6. Yeah, for sure. We have a friend, Swiss, who comes on here, who lives in Switzerland, and he always reminds me, he's like, you always say good morning, but it's not morning my time. I'm like, you're right. My bad. Little shake out. All right. So, I'm gonna bring back down to tabletop pose. Oh, that's what I meant to do. Grab this so I can actually see chat. And we'll take a step forward with one foot and the other foot. Either one will be just fine. And walk the feet out to the outer edges of the mat. So pinky side feet, pinky side edges of the mat, pinky side edges of the feet are at the edges of the mat. There we go. And we'll extend the hips up. And then bend in the knees, the hips to sink deep, head light for a deep squat. So extending the legs and bending the knees deep. Forward fold, deep squat. Once again, it doesn't have to be, thanks, yeah, my hair's a mess, so it's definitely a hat day. It doesn't have to be your deepest forward fold or your deepest squat of your life. We're just waking the body up to this movement, this direction that we're headed. And next time you're in this forward fold position, we'll hold it there and the breathing continues. Letting the legs be straight-ish. You can allow a little bend to them. Then let your upper body hang heavy. Giving the head a nod yes. Let the head shake no. Grab opposite elbows, create a frame for the head. And you can give yourself a little rock side to side, almost like a figure 8. But it's ragdoll, so you can really move however you'd like to move. You can just sway side to side, circles, giving yourself a bob forward and back. Just letting the weight of the head elongate the spine here. So the knees can be really bent. The knees can even be like belly on thighs level of bent, if that feels better for you. Don't want you to feel any sharp pain or tugging on your hamstring. So if this is what's tight, this is what feels like it's being stretched out, just bend your knees even more, because really here we're focused on elongating the spine, giving the back a stretch. There's a lot of crunching going on in my body. Yes, we talk about all the clicks and cracks and all of that going on. That's all good. We're like getting it out of our systems. That makes sense. Bring it back to center. Release the hands from the elbows. Tiptoe the feet in. Heel toe rather, the feet in. Together, big toes come to touch. Just a little space between the heels. We'll inhale to a halfway lift. Hands come onto shins. It's like making the number 7 in your body. Crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. Tailbone reaching towards the back. Gaze is down towards the floor. Deep breath in here. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. And arms sweep up when you get there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right knee pulls in towards the body, lifting one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose. And exhale, hinge on the left hip. Head comes forward, right leg reaches back with making the letter T in the body. Just as a transition pose, we're going to bend in the left knee to touch the right foot down for a high lunge. Here, adjust accordingly. You might move your left foot a little bit further to the left, move the right foot further back. Hips are square to the short end of the mat. So the left hip is pulling back, right hip's pressing forward. And I'm pressing back through the heel to get a bit of a stretch in this left calf. Right calf. Back calf. There we go. Well, my shoulders up over my hips. If you're here, you can't get your shoulders over your hips, you have that lean forward, then bend in your back knee. That's going to give you the space to get shoulders up over hips. When we're working on lengthening and opening up this right thigh for you so that you can get up here with a straight leg. When we're here in this high lunge, arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, shoulders melt away from the ears. A little softening in the upper back. But the lower legs are super strong as the foundation here. Squeezing the glutes, hips are pulling in towards center, feet are pressing in towards center, almost like you're trying to scrunch the mat together below you. Another deep breath in. And exhale is a high twist to the left. So release your left arm behind you, right arm reaching forward. So nice, feel that real squeeze between your legs. Your arms are reaching out in opposite directions. And you can stay here, breathing in the twist, or release the left hand down towards the right thigh. And the right arm reaches up towards the sky. So now, if your knee was bent before, work towards straightening it out. And it's okay where the chest has to go to make that happen. So we're lifting, you should feel a deep stretch in this whole left side body. Sorry, whole right side body. Another deep breath here. And bring it back through center in the high lunge. Drop your right heel down to the ground, toes face the long side of the mat. Left knee still stays over left ankle and arms open up for warrior two. Now my hips and chest are open to the long side of the mat. Inhale, reverse. Right hand sweeps across the belly. Left arm reaches up and over for a side bend, a lateral bend to the side. Straighten out this left leg and arms come down parallel to the ground. Now the hands can come onto the hips. We're dropping this left hip down. So here my hips are level, here I'm tipped over. It's like the little teapot game with the kids. Teapot down, reach out the spout towards the wall in front of you. And then we'll drop that arm down, hand comes to the inside of the left calf, and right arm reaches up towards the sky. My chest is open, it's like I'm between two panes of glass here. Trying to get my hips and shoulders all flat for Trikonasana triangle pose. Even if you know that you have the flexibility to bring the hand down to the ground, the invitation here is to stay up so we can help strengthen these obliques, side body muscles. So it's like a lifted type feeling, like there's a friend pulling you up towards the sky. We've got one more deep breath here. And bend in this left knee. Hands come down to frame the front left foot, coming onto the back toes. And step the left foot back to meet the right plank pose. So straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. Deep breath breath in here. You can shift the weight forward, option to drop the knees. And exhale, chaturanga, lowering halfway down. Elbows don't bend past 90 degrees and tops of the feet flip. Press the shoulders and chest forward. Squeeze the glutes to protect the lower back. My knees are pressed into the my feet are pressed into the ground so hard that my knees stay lifted up off the mat. So knees and hips are off the mat, shoulder blades are squeezed together. Alternately, your hips and thighs can be on the ground. Walk your hands a little bit more forward. Bend in the elbows for Bhujangasana. So here in this cobra pose, still the shoulders are pressed down and back. And there's like a pulling of the hands back, like you're trying to drag your hips forward. In upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, not making that up. Your arms can be straight, but still the shoulders are pulled back. Another deep breath here. And the toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Hips are pressing up and back behind you towards where the back wall meets the ceiling. Heels are pressing down towards the ground regardless if they touch. Just like we're not expecting our hips to actually touch where the back wall meets the ceiling, we also don't have to expect our heels to touch the ground, but it doesn't mean that that's not the direction the body is headed for proper alignment. Let the head and shoulders be heavy here. Trying to create this nice long line, straight line of energy from the hips to the wrists. If you're here and you feel there's like that break in the shoulder, not feel, but you can see there's like that break in the shoulder where you can't get your chest heavy enough to go between to bring it between the arms. You can bend in the knees and send the belly towards the thighs. That's going to give you some space, and that's going to be your hamstrings that are probably holding you back from getting into that position. So we'll have plenty of, or we do have plenty of stretches for those and other poses. So you get to where you need to in this posture. Still the breathing is full, the eyes are open, either between the ankles or between the knees. Then the right leg reaches up and back behind you. Exhale, knee in towards nose, round in the spine. This is just like we practiced. Round in the spine like cat pose. Lifting the belly out of the way. Lift onto the tiptoes of the left foot. Shoulders come up over the wrists. And right foot steps up between the hands. Left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. Left knee pulls in towards the body, lifting up to a one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose. And then shift the leg back. We're hinging on the right hip. As the head comes forward like a seesaw, that weight helps bring the left leg up and back for Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room, gaze is down towards the floor, and left heel is reaching back towards the back of the room, like you're making the letter T with the body. Bend in the right knee to slowly float the left foot down to the ground, landing in a nice high lunge. Adjust accordingly. You can take more than one step to get there. I let the right foot kind of heel toe towards the right edge of the mat so that I'm not on a balance beam. My feet have a little space widthwise between them. I'm pressing back through the left heel to give the calf a bit of a stretch. And I'm bringing my shoulders up over my hips. You should feel a nice deep stretch in this front left thigh. If you can get your shoulders up over your hips and you don't feel a stretch in this left thigh, bring this foot even further back. You can go into a deeper lunge. Just make sure the knee stays over the ankle. If you feel that deep stretch here, but you're here and can't bring the shoulders back, bend in the back knee, and that's going to give you the space you need to come upright into proper alignment. Hands come onto the hips and just notice the right hip wants to move forward, the left hip wants to pull back, but instead we pull back the right hip, press forward the left hip, Squeeze the feet in towards one another, like you're trying to scrunch your mat together. And then arms come up overhead with a deep breath in. Exhale, shoulders melt away. You can bring a little bend to the elbows to give that release in the shoulders and the neck. And this high lunge. Another deep breath in here. Really pressing through the legs. And exhale as a high twist to the right. So my right hand's reaching back towards the wall behind me. Left arm is reaching forward. Still my legs are strong. Squeezing in towards center. There's a scissoring type action pulling you inwards, and that is what's holding you in place here. You can stay here in the twist, the high twist, or option to drop the right hand down towards this left thigh, and left arm reaches up towards the sky, opening up this whole left side body for a nice deep stretch. If your knee was bent before, work towards straightening it out now. Let me clarify, if your left knee was bent before, work towards straightening out. We're committing to the bend in the right knee over the ankle. Last deep breath here. And then like pressing rewind back through this letter T, back through high lunge. Drop the left heel down to the ground. Adjust a bit. So the toes are facing the long side of the mat, still the right foot is facing towards the front of the mat, and arms open up. So now my hips and shoulders are open to the long side of my mat. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Sweep the left arm in front of the belly, grabbing onto this right hip, and the right arm reaches up and over. Commit to the bend in the knee. I know that this leg's starting to fatigue, but we're just pressing into it, pressing into the pinky side edge of the left foot, pressing into the front leg. Strength here as we open up these side body muscles. Another deep breath in. And extend the right leg long. Relief. And hands come down onto the hips. Just like a little teapot. I'm going to tip the hips over to the right. The spout, the right hand reaches forward, reaching the torso. And then the hand releases down to the inside of the right calf. So I'm pressing hand against calf. Left arm sweeps open to the sky. Trikonasana triangle pose. So remember, even if I know I can reach the ground, I'm resisting that urge to take the easy way out, and instead I'm pressing the hand into the calf, using that as leverage to keep the left shoulder open, and there's a bit of a lifted feeling here, like I'm being lifted up towards the sky, engaging these side body muscles, these obliques. Breathing fully here. This is bringing any not so hot feelings to the knee. We're squeezing the thigh to hold the knee in place. If you don't have the endurance to hold the knee in effort the entire time, you can bring a little baby bend to the knee. So we're not in a side lunge or anything like that, but you can bring a little bend, micro bend to the knee to avoid hyperextending if that's the feeling that you're getting here. Good morning, Shaban. Hello, my love. It's so great to see you. Or to see that you're on. Can't really see you. We got one more breath here in Trikonasana triangle pose. And bend deep into that right knee. Hands come down to frame the right foot. Pivot onto the back toes. And step it back for your your plank pose. Deep breath in here. You can shift the body forward. And exhale, lower down chaturanga. You can also lower the knees here. Tops of the feet flip. Chest presses forward for your upward facing dog or cobra, Bhujangasana, with the hips down and the elbows bent. Shoulder blades are squeezed tight together. And then here we'll actually release down. Nope, that's not what I want to do. We'll flip the toes over, hips press up high, downward facing dog. So adjusting the spacing, you might have to bring your feet in a bit more. Hips pressing up and back. Head nice and heavy. Between the shoulders, like you're trying to bring your armpits or your chest to the floor. That's that feeling. And the eyes are open, either between the feet or between the knees. Fingers are spread wide. We're breathing fully here, even in the difficulty, even in the discomfort or of the posture. Left leg sweeps up and back behind you, reaching towards the wall. And exhale, knee in towards nose, tiger's pose, rounding in the spine, lift up onto the right toes, lift the belly out of the way like cat pose, shoulders come up over the wrists, and left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up between the hands. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the heels. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. Out my calves. Okay. In which pose? Or you might not know the names of the poses yet. But yeah, we did a bunch of calf warming up, I think earlier than you showed up. I don't know when in class you got here. But yeah, just take it easy, especially if you're coming in late to class. You may not have gone through all like the warm-ups that we went through, but even if you did, you might still be experiencing some pain, and that's totally normal. Let's just shake it out, actually. So you can shake out one leg and the other. So a lot of class is us learning to kind of tell the difference between pain and sensation. So intense discomfort sometimes reads as pain. But sometimes pain is just pain and you're like on the verge of injury, so we want to also like back off. The one before this one, so downward facing dog, so this one probably. That one? Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty intense for most people. Alright, so we're coming into our lymphatic shaking part of class. So we lift up the heels and just let them drop down with the knees bent. Let the shoulders rise and drop, we'll shake in the hands. So we're just bringing a little bounce, a little reverberation to the body, just letting the body kind of shake. Once again, there's no wrong way of doing this. There's no like right way for your body to look while it's doing this. Releasing tension just through a little bounce and shake. Yeah, so downward facing dog, I think it's challenging to everyone who's ever attempted it in the beginning. And I remember my yoga teacher, my first yoga teacher, saying to me, like, oh, one day this pose will feel like home. And it'll be a relief that you got there. And I was like, this bitch is crazy. Like, how could this ever feel like home? Like, this is just like painful, it's something to work towards. But you know what? She's right. After years of practice, it's like, oh, thank God. Downward facing dog, you have a moment to rest in this. And you kind of learn to rest in these postures that originally felt like impossible to even get into. Yeah. So I don't know if that's encouraging or if it sounds like how I heard it the first time somebody said it to me. But it's just one of those poses that comes up like very often in classes. So you kind of get to be well acquainted with it. And yeah, true. Cool. All right, so here we are, we're bouncing. You can even give it like a full hop, like a full jump, if like you have that kind of energy today. But even just the heel lift and drop is going to be beneficial as we shake off tension from frustration or emotional things that we may have picked up throughout the week or throughout the day. We're just kind of shaking it off. It might take a few years, very encouraging. Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Yeah, when people come to me, they're like, I want to be able to touch my toes in 6 weeks. I'm like, cool. They're like, can you do it? I'm like, I don't know. Can I do it? It's you. You're the one who has to do the thing. I can tell you what you need to do to get there. But 6 months, 6 weeks, like, what is time? Yoga's not a place that promises like 6-minute abs for a reason. All right, so we're gonna come into our breath of joy. It's a 4-part breath, all about releasing and letting go. So it looks like it's 3 consecutive inhales through the nose, no exhales in between, and a big ha out through the mouth. Just audible, like just all of the breath comes out like a big yell. And it looks like a sip of air in, arms sweep up, sip of air in, arms sweep out, sip of air in, arms sweep up, and a big ha, throwing the hands back. So we've got 10 of these, more or less. And just mindful, the arms are reaching up, but we're not arching the back. Don't arch the back on the inhale. On the exhale, we do reach back almost like a chair pose. Yeah? Make sure there's space between you and your dresser. In, 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 ha, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha. Ha! 3 more to go. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Feet come nice and wide. Eyes closed. Let's just take a moment here to arrive and observe what was created. What shows up when you let yourself take up space, be loud, let yourself yell. What shows up as resistance to hold you back from fully participating. Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. Gently allow the eyes to blink open. You might grab a sip of water or towel off any sweat. Got called back to work. Okay, have a good day at work. If you got some shaking and stretching in, some deep breathing. Okay, if you're on the ground already, on your mat, you just stay there. I'll meet you. If not, you can come down with me. Back to the edge of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground, knees bend deep, 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 so deep that you come down to seated. Let our feet come in. Yes, I feel better now. Thanks. You're welcome. Well, thanks for joining. Thanks for popping in. All right, we let the knees splay open to the sides. Give a little foot massage. So I just like work into the bottoms of my feet, almost like I'm opening up the pages of a book. Alright. And having a grip on the feet or on the ankles, we'll get up nice and tall, deep breath in. Exhale, hinging forward for our Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Like I'm trying to bring my heart to my toes. I'm going to use my elbows to press into my knees by grabbing my ankle. So it's almost like a fulcrum, like I had to use that leverage. So I'm pressing my knees down towards the ground. My goal isn't to get my knees on the ground. My goal is to find that edge, that space in my hips where the hips are getting a nice, like an enjoyable stretch. So right to where I'm like, okay, that's the edge of my flexibility. That's where I'm kind of breathing into, pressing into that boundary. I'm not trying to force my legs to go past that or anything, because even once you even get your knees to the ground, there's more to do. There's always going to be like an escalation to the situation, to the posture. So if you are one of those people whose knees easily touch the ground and this isn't a stretch for your hips, then just bring your heels in closer to your hips or further away, and that's going to change the stretch in your hips, the positioning of the bones. Just let the shoulders be soft and melted away. Maybe the head comes heavy, but if this brings any pain to your back, then still it's like a nose towards the space just beyond your toes kind of movement. Release back, upright, knees come up through center. And we'll just roll back, giving the knees a hug in, little rock side to side, releasing, little lower back massage. All right, press the feet into the ground, lifting them just high enough so we can come to sit on the hands. So my palms are going to be touching my mat, and my back body is going to be touching the top of my hands. So it's my lower back on my hands, my fingers like under my butt. Yeah. Bring the knees in towards the chest, and then feel how the weight is pressed into the hands. I want to keep that pressure of my lower back into my hands the entirety of the next movement, or the next series of movements. Legs come up. It's okay if there's a little bend to the knees. If you do have the option of having the legs straight, then straighten out the legs. If not, they're going to where your level of straight leggitude is. Deep breath in here. And the exhale, we're going to lower the legs down super slow, stopping maybe 6 inches from the ground. And then notice, is your lower back still pressing into your hands? Engage in the core to make that so, and bring the legs back up to 12 o'clock. So lowering the legs on the exhale. Well, on the inhale or the exhale, you can kind of choose. Oh yeah, I think exhale's right. And inhale back up. It's one or the other, but the idea is that you're connecting your breath with the movement. Reach through the toes. Reach through the heels and keep pressing the lower back into the hands. So really building up core strength this month so that there's more stability in all of our poses. There's more power behind our breath. There's more health in our spine. Really, any flexibility or strength in the arms and in the legs, it all has to come off of a foundation. That foundation is the core. So you just got 3 more like this. You're doing great. Even if you've taken a break already, just hop back in. We just got 2 left. 2. Last one. building up that hip flexor strength, that leg strength, core strength. Oh, untuck the hands, hug the knees in towards the chest, and then full body stretch. Reaching for all four corners of the mat. Knees bend, feet come in close to the hips. Untuck the hips, or rather tuck the hips a bit to bring the lower back onto the ground. Let's just stretch out these hip flexors, these muscles that we were just strengthening through our bridge pose. Lifting up, peeling the spine up off the ground. Hips rise, lower back, middle back, upper back. Tuck the shoulders under. Maybe the fingers even interlace below the body. We're pressing the hands, pressing the forearms into the ground. Squeeze the glutes. That's going to help really press the hips even higher into this bridge pose, say to Bandhasana. And breathing fully here, breathing so deep, you can see the belly rise and fall past the tip of my nose. One more deep breath like this. We unlace the fingers, untuck the shoulders, and roll down the spine one vertebra at a time, letting the hips touch down last. Hands come into the knees, give them a couple circles. Change directions. And then we'll bring them up 90 degrees and let them gently lower over to the right. Stacking right hip over left hip, right hand lands on top of left knee, and left arm opens up like the letter T, pressing the shoulder down towards the ground, left shoulder's pressing down towards the ground, otherwise everything's relaxed. It doesn't matter if the knees are touching or if the legs are touching the ground. Then we'll look over the left arm to complete that spinal twist. Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center, and we'll gently lower the knees over to the left. Stacking right hip over left hip, left hand comes down onto right knee, and right arm opens up like the letter T. Palm face open to the sky, pressing the right shoulder down to the ground. Maybe the gaze looks over that right arm, just to complete the twist. Letting every exhale bring some softness and ease to the pose, just letting gravity and the breath do the work. And with the head coming back up through center, let the knees come up through center. And then notice, is there any last wiggle or movement or posture that your body's asking for that would make you really feel like it was a well-rounded class? Maybe something we haven't addressed yet, maybe just a last stretch or wiggle or movement. All day we tell our body what to do. And now we just ask back, is there anything left? Don't get hung up on it having to look a certain way or having to, have a certain name or anything to it. When we ask our body what it needs, often it will not answer with words. So we're just learning to build that relationship, that language between that communication, that line of communication. It takes a little experimenting. Like when you think your body is telling you that it's craving salty food, but what it actually needs is water. Wrapping up whatever movement you're in. As we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose. Legs come down the length of the mat. Feet at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest, and the arms release down by the sides, maybe 6 inches from the body, palms face up, open to the sky, a symbol of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Head comes centered, eyes can close if that's comfortable, if not, a soft gaze towards the sky, the ceiling. Not looking at anything in particular is also available. If you know that laying flat on your back is going to bring pain to your lower back, you can bend deep in the knees, bringing the pinky side edges of the feet to the edges of the mat, and drop the knees together. Slightly lift the hips and give them a tuck to bring the lower back down onto the ground, lengthening the lumbar spine, and then release all muscular effort from this for broken bridge pose. Staying here in your chosen Savasana positioning, and coming up just to more easily be able to guide you and lead you through this practice. I'll play some Tibetan singing bowls for you. So Savasana is a time of integration. We take everything that we've been practicing and learning and let it sink deep into our knowing. We'll start this just as we start our last grounding practice with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. Just let the shoulders be melted away and relaxed for this round. And allow the breathing to continue in and out through the nose if that's available to you. Inviting the exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Every exhale sinks you deeper and heavier into the ground below. Inviting space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. And you just invite that monkey to sit this one out. As all the muscles in the lips and cheeks relax. Nose and nostrils rest. Gently allowing air to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy, eyelids just barely touching.
The space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. The muscles surrounding the ears, with all their wrinkles and folds down into the ear canals, all rest. Muscles in the back of the head, top of the head, hairline, all rest. Head heavy, supported by the ground below, like lead sinking into hot sand. Neck and throat release. Shoulders, shoulder blades melt away. Upper arms and elbows relax. Forearms and wrists rest. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, whole hands alive with vibration, whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Chest and belly naturally rise and fall with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, hips rest heavy. Thighs and knees melt away. Calves and ankles relax. The heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body resting. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Notice if in your mind that inner dialogue quieted, if only for just a moment. notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space, and the places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. Invite your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. With every inhale, the attention is brought to the surface front side of the body, and that heaviness is replaced with a feeling of openness and lightness, expansion. As fingers begin to curl and toes begin to wiggle. Allow the head to gently rock side to side. Arms can reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Let your knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, you can use your arm as a pillow. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. Take a moment to bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed, you're gently lowered. Press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of core strengthening postures. The first namaste I said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste I said out loud to the community that held this space, to everyone here, namaste. Thank you for joining me in practice today. I appreciate you, and I hope that you found something that serves you. Thank you, Mehmet, John, and Shaban on Facebook. Namaste, Bodhi. Functional Alcoholic, Greg, Weird. I don't know, Shadows is still here. Namaste, my friends. So I hope you do feel better, or even if it's not better equipped to navigate the rest of your day. Stepping off the mat than you did stepping on. Got the last bit. Thanks. Yay. Good. I'm glad. I feel like even if you're doing other stuff, you can kind of listen in on Savasana. Like, it's not the same, obviously, as like getting to experience it without like distractions, but it'll still be nice in the background, I hope. So, happy Tuesday to everyone. I hope the rest of your days go well, however much of that Tuesday is left. Let's go over and read Isa. She's like super good vibes. I'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. And remember, on Thursday we're doing a very special class. We're doing a chair yoga class, same time, same place, 8:30. So 8:30 a.m. Pacific
time. And so bring a chair, preferably one that doesn't have like wheels underneath it. If that's the only chair you have, that's the only chair you have. Preferably a chair that's not going to roll around while you are practicing chair yoga with us. I know that if some of you are at work, and that's the reason why. So I guess you're just using the chair that you have there, but just as a just as an option, just as a recommendation. I like the core exercises. Yeah, I put some extra in there. We had to find another chair. Yeah, I can't really imagine doing what we're planning on doing in a rolly chair. So that's my little warning. We spelled this wrong. And yes, thank you, Bodhi, for dropping the tips info into the chat. I really appreciate the tips. $5 does get you a recording to class. The only way to get it is the private link. And it has all the timestamps to all your favorite parts of class, the meditations, the breath of joy, lymphatic shaking, the movement itself, Savasana, all of that. So, yes, so just send me a tip, send me a message to say that it was you, and I'll send, or like how to send you the link, and I appreciate you. With your tip money, we pay for electricity, internet, and crystal singing bowls, which are in the works. So, much love from me to you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Namaste, my friends. Go say hi to Isa, and join her. I think we're just in time for her Shavasana.